Hello everyone. This is our second podcast with people who are actually using Birth to Five Matters in practice. And I'm joined today by a Senko practitioner manager. Have I got that right?
Yes, early years and Senko lead. Yeah.
Early years Senko lead, who's working in practice. And you work in a day nursery?
Yes, we are a private childcare setting, yes.
Lovely. So do you want to introduce yourself?
So my name's Lenka and I work for Bright Beginnings Childcare Centre here in Leeds. And we are basically offering childcare to all the students and employees of University of Leeds. So we are very international and we have got over 30% of our families with children who are EAL learners, so they speak English as an additional language.
Fantastic. And do you open 8 till 6, 8 till 4?
That's correct, 8 till 6, yes.
Yeah, and I think you said how many members of staff have you got there?
I think currently it's 37.
So 37.
Yeah, we are quite big centre, yes.
And you cater for babies?
So we have got 3 age groups. We've got babies, toddlers and preschool, and we've got 2 rooms per each age group.
Wonderful. Right, so that's where you're at. So you've agreed to come and talk to us about your experiences of working with Birth to Five. Yeah. And I'm just going to ask you 3 questions, which I'd like you just to talk about. Then we've got sort of 15 minutes just to talk about the answers. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay, here we go. So what has been going well using Birth to Five Matters guidance?
I think it was about time to kind of reshape the old non-statutory guidance, and it was a fantastic opportunity to reflect on our own practice and processes with regards to children's development, how we record this, how we share this with parents, and really think, are there any processes that are done purely because of Ofsted? Is this parent friendly? So we were never really heavy on paperwork, so we didn't have to actually make a huge change. However, we have found that some of the ways how we shared children's achievements and development with parents was very it was full of EYFS terminology that wasn't maybe familiar or easy to understand for some of our parents, and especially if these parents speak English as an additional language. So we have changed the way how we do share development with the families. So it's more of a story rather than a bunch of statements from the guidance. We have also really thought about how the Birth to Five Matters is written. So our first initial reaction was, oh, this is full of like very academic terminology, which is fantastic and easy to understand for more senior members of staff or the leadership team. However, we do have members of staff who may not have been working in childcare for long or are just completing their qualifications, and it kind of went over their head. Okay.
So hang on, let's just be clear. Your initial response to Birth to Five was like, oh my gosh, this is a bit too difficult.
Yes, but then we realized, well, hang on a minute, like the role of early years in society is so very much portrayed, such as we heard, like, you watch the children, like the offer lately of changing the ratios for under 2s.
Yes.
Like we can watch 5 children instead of 3. Well, we do not watch children, or we are portrayed as ladies playing on a carpet with the children. Well, this document, actually, Birth to Five Matters, showcases how much we do actually have to know about children's development, how much expertise we have to deliver high standard of practice in our settings. So I thought, well, it's not actually a a negative. It's actually positive because it's showing who we are, and we are taking it as a part of staff CPD and taking them on that journey and helping them to understand some of the terminology, and especially, you know, for what you want as a lead or as a manager, you want your staff to one day become you. So, you know, this is something you have to do for them.
Yeah, that's good. And okay, so I think when we were talking earlier, you said something.
Oh yes, another like really big what went well for us. So yes, I talked about the change and kind of reviewing on our own processes, but also I really liked how Birth to Five Matters incorporated the new, you know, the contemporary issues from COVID, self-regulation and moving away from that behavior management, recategorizing maths area, because for practitioners it often was, you know, it's shapes and numbers. However, now reading maths area in the Birth to Five Matters, it actually showcases so much more, which, you know, it clarifies for the staff, you know, how much more maths actually can be done hands-on in real life experiences. So it's a fantastic message that
Yeah,
I really
I
like.
I'm a real fan of the maths. I love the maths. It's
Yeah,
incredible,
me
isn't it?
too.
It's so vast and impressive. Yeah. Okay, so you've already talked about the fact that initially you thought, oh my gosh, this is too much. But can you just outline for the people who are listening any other challenges that you faced with the Birth to Five Matters?
So yeah, like I mentioned, the first challenge was the terminology, but then I've overcome this by changing my perception of it. The second challenge was, I mean, it's not a huge negative, but our center uses electronic journals. Now, the main message for the Birth to Five Matters was moving away from that tick list, from the tracking, not completely moving away from the tracking, but like overdoing it and creating the masses of this paperwork. And it's basically just letting go a little bit and be brave to let go and having trust in your staff's knowledge of children. However, as a lead, my responsibility is for my team to get familiar with some of the changes that happen to the statements or the areas and how they're laid out. But because there were hurdles for companies who provide learning journals to avoid people of collecting huge data, that they can now, for example, tag observations within the name of the area and the subheading. And the company we currently use is not even displaying the statements, it's only displaying the main areas with the subheading. So I have to really print out the documents and give it to staff so they are getting familiar with the new non-statutory framework. But I am aware that this is just, you know, an issue we have with our company. This doesn't apply to all the companies on the market, and some of them can see the statements and as a side.
Yeah.
View.
Yeah, that's right. It might be that the company you're working with is still developing some of those things.
Yes, I have been in contact with them, and you know they have said that they are working on it. It's more of a developer's issue. So
Yeah.
it's time. Hopefully, we will see them there soon.
Yeah. Can I ask you? I know we haven't spoken about it yet, and it's a bit off the topic. But how are you coping with the ranges? Are your staff coping with them?
I think personally, I don't think it's a huge difference from the old document, but it was an opportunity to again emphasize with the staff that every child is different, every child is unique, and emphasizing the overlapping of these age ranges and not sticking to a little box 30 to 50 or 40 to 60, and being more trusting into your own years of practice and expertise and what you've seen throughout the years, and trust your own judgment. And if you're not sure, you know, we have got the the company structure where you can go and see your room lead or your Senko or the manager, and double check. And you know, a lot of people were when I was introducing the changes, why do we have two documents now? You know, we've got two documents to get used to. And I said, well, don't take it as a negative, just take it as, you know, you've got the extra literature there. If you're not sure about the child's progress, you can go and have a look in both. And, you know, you've got different ways of rechecking your own knowledge or finding out how to support, I don't know, if there is a language delay.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, so my last question for you then is, what advice would you give other practitioners? Because I know, talking to people, not everyone's made a decision. So some people are still using the old development matters.
Yeah.
Some people haven't really decided where they're going. So what advice would you give to other practitioners about using birth to 5 matters?
I am part of loads of different forums with regards to early years, and I do see the panic amongst staff, like,
Yes.
oh, what do we go with? There is no right or wrong answer, because this change is about clarifying the misconception of development matters being a curriculum. It is not, and it never was. It was always just a guidance to help you create your own curriculum. So take it as the opportunity to kind of look at your setting. What are your values? What is your ethos? What is your community where your setting is? Do things you offer in your provisions reflect those families, those backgrounds, those traditions and languages, for example, or your location? You know, some settings are in a city centre, some settings are lucky, you know, to be in the countryside or near a beach. You know, your provision should take advantages from where you are and who attends your setting, and think about your cultural capital and all those contemporary issues that are promoted in the new guidelines. And that's how you choose your best fit for your own setting.
That's brilliant. Thank you. That's amazing advice. So is there anything you want to say, just one last thing before we say goodbye, or have you said everything you need to say? What do you think?
I just want to say that I hope that society will look at our role differently and actually notice the value that we bring to the children. Everybody talks about how early years are making difference to children, but then when you look at the reality and our wages and how difficult recruitment is at the moment, I think we need to I mean, that's all we can do, is hope that things will change for the better.
Yeah, I think I echo that, and I agree with you that the birth to 5 matters was a very strong reminder. It was a shot across the bows that we are a professional, educated bunch of people who are doing a fantastic job. Yeah, thank you, Lenka. Thank you so much for your input today.
Well, thank you for letting us share our experience.
Fantastic, thank you.